All right, guys. So I am sitting here today with Knox Mailhes. Get that right. And we were talking the other day about drumming up some refinances. So everybody knows that rates have dropped a little bit. And Knox actually has a unique advantage that we can all be taking advantage of. And so I wanted to quickly do a recording with him so we can share it with you guys and we can pounce on this quickly. So Knox, give us the 30,000 foot view, and then I'm going to ask some questions about what it is that you can do to help our loan officers drum up some business or drum up some potential business.
Yeah, thanks. The 30,000 foot view would be quite simply, I don't think there's another title company in the entire country that offers a lot of the services that we offer. Of course, we have the 15 locations and corporate counsel, and you can talk directly to me when you need something, things like that, and we have a terrific team. On top of that, I think we're the only ones that actually try to help position our lenders and so forth with opportunities to create more business to close, not just close more business.
I agree. And by the way, I didn't mention it's Integrity Title Solutions. So if you don't know Knox, you probably already know Knox if you're in the St. Louis market, but just to throw that out there. So, so you're creating opportunities. Explain how you can help a loan officer with potential lists, with potential clients so that they can call and explain how that works.
Sure. So I'll actually take it back a step. We actually have a data resource that also allows us to provide you guys with property profile information. So let's say you go through your database, or one of your loan officers, yourself, whomever has a previous client that calls in out of the blue and says, hey, I just read that rates dropped. Do you think I can take advantage of that and reduce my MI or whatever the case may be? And you say, oh, geez, that was 5 years ago. I have no idea where this person sits, if they bought a new house, whatever the case may be. You can ask us for a property profile report, which will actually give you a really great snapshot of that actual property they're in. In other words, the cover will be square footage, lot size, kind of assessor information. And the next page goes into their full transaction history. So when they bought it, how much they paid for it, who financed it. Let's just say they were with you guys, but down the road, they took out a second. You didn't know that. So now you would know that. You know everything they've done, how many times they've refinanced it, all the way down to present day. And then the next page is actually all their comps. So it'll give you both MLS and non-MLS comps, and it'll boil them out by low, average, and high, by square footage, by last sale date, current sale price, assessed value, things like that. So I wanted to get that out of the way. If you do have those calls that come in and you just want to say, I don't even know if this is worth me, taking us to underwriting yet, let me just get a snapshot before we send out appraisers and see if this dog's going to hunt, so to speak. And you can ask us for that report and usually get it the same day.
So that's good. So it's a little bit of a digression, but so how do they do that? Who is it that they email, or is there a place that a website that they go to place these requests? Because that's really valuable.
For now, just send it directly to me, and then I'll plug them into the person that's going to ultimately do it each time.
Okay, perfect. And I'll include Knox's email in this video, so you can have that. I'll also include it in the email as well. All right, perfect. So then let's get into talk about specifically how we can drum up some refinance business.
Right. So right now, as you mentioned, rates have dropped. There's talk there may even drop a little bit more. The Fed may drop the rates again, mid-summer. Who knows, right? We just don't know. So my thought is, so many people have been focusing on purchase business, which is excellent, and that's what we all really ultimately probably need to do. But there's a lot of low-hanging refi fruit. In other words, nobody's been going after it to the best of my knowledge. Most of the people I work with and my marketing team work with, we haven't been doing refis at Integrity. And like I said, we have 15 locations, and we'll get a couple a day. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to pick up a bunch because there's that window. So let's just say one of the people watching this said, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. I want everybody that's in a 63040 zip code that hasn't refinanced or did refinance between this and this date in 2018, let's say, and paid at least this amount in interest, that has an ARM, that has an FHA loan, a VA loan, a conventional loan, that was originated with Golden Oak Lending, and I want them to have at least this much equity in the house, and I want the borrower to make at least this much money. Boom, I can turn your list around and send it to you guys, and usually have it there by the next day, if not the same day.
So someone can really get that granular. They can literally go all the way down to, I want not just a zip code, but a subdivision and an equity position and an interest rate and even a lender. Wow.
I can do it by languages spoken, single, married, profession of a certain type. So let's say you guys roll out a great loan program like you've done in the past for physicians, and I want to go after everybody that's a physician, that's a young physician that may have bought their first home but wasn't aware or didn't have the benefit of this product. I want to go after all of them that make this amount of money, that's lived in their house for X amount of time, that has the presence of children now that didn't before, that are between this and this age in a certain neighborhood. Yep, there you go. Boom. You know that list is going to speak to them. So you can really, really call on them, send them a handwritten note, whatever the case may be. So it's very, very granular, like you said.
Pretty awesome. So if I was single, you could get me a dating list.
You would not probably be surprised at how many times I've had young female agents say, whoa, hold on a second.
Sorry. Totally got off tangent there. Okay. Yeah. So, but in all reality, most LOs are probably not going to get that granular. That's awesome that we can, because that could be super powerful and super useful. But let's just say, for the sake of efficiency, and we want to get this thing jamming right away, and we have a loan officer, Wes Suter, he lives out in St. Charles O'Fallon area. He's going to probably say, can I just get a zip code of a certain area? And so what do you suggest? So let's just say he says, I know I want to target O'Fallon, Missouri. What other data points would you suggest that are the most valuable for doing this?
In a situation like that, I love the idea personally. And I go to tons of trainings all the time because they ask us to provide lunch. I sit through a training that other people paid for. So let's put it that way. I'm regurgitating information that I hear, but one would be focus on your own neighborhood. Let's just say you live in a neighborhood. Not everybody in that neighborhood knows you're a lender, but who better is going to protect the value and the property and make sure they get a good rate so they tell their friends in the neighborhood about it, but you. So go after your subdivision first. Maybe there's only 10 in there. Okay, let's expand it. We can go incrementally and do that, though. What I urge people to do is let's not get a list of 500 names you're probably not going to get through in a reasonable amount of time, because this data we pull from come from the biggest databases in the country, and they are the best. And that way you can refresh it. It's updated every 24 hours with them. So let's keep the data fresh and nibble away at it. And let's do 100 at a time, 200 at a time, whatever you think you can get to. And you can choose it. Like I said, hey, let's start with my subdivision, but after that, I'd love to maybe expand it. If there's only a few in there, let's go and look at, the school district, or let's go, I can map it out on a grid and literally pull it up on Google Maps and snap a grid around a certain area. They can give me cross streets. So they want to cover just that wide. So it's really up to them.
Wow. Okay. So then what are next steps? So I'm sure there's several people watching this right now. They're going to be like, okay, let's go. How do I do this? Do they just email you? Do you have the people in place? Because you could get bombarded with 15 emails in the next couple of days. What's the best way to follow through with this?
I think it's just send it directly to me at kmailhes@integritytitlesolutions.com. Once I receive it, I will then plug and play, maybe do the first couple myself if I'm available, just so I make sure it's fresh. And then I'll start parceling it out. And if they need more, I'll have them go directly to one of my marketing people or somebody internally that can handle it from there.
Okay, perfect. And do you want maybe to keep the continuity and simplicity for your own sake, maybe have them put in the title of the email saying, something like refinance list or something? Is there anything a trigger word?
That's a great idea, because like you, my email can be a slot machine and I have about 5 different email addresses. So do that. I will mention, by the way, if I can, there's other lists that we have. We have for rent by owners. We have for sale by owners. We have renter lists that you can pull people that are renting homes. Rates dropping right now. If somebody's renting a home in a more affluent area, let's say they're in Kirkwood, Chesterfield, Ladue, if you're renting a house there, more than likely you're not doing it because you love throwing your money out the window. Maybe target some of them. Let's go send them a postcard and say, hey, rates have dropped. Lending guidelines have been, weakened a little bit, so that you might be able to buy and get them back on the scene. So anything they can think of, we have a lot of different data that we can provide for them, and we'd love to do it.
That's good. So let me back up real quick before I got 2 things to say. So on the email subject line, let's have them put refinance list. Just keep it simple. Okay.
Yep.
So we'll do that. And then what Knox just mentioned was what I heard was you've got all kinds of lists. We do a lot of marketing, mailer marketing and flyer marketing, postcard marketing with our realtors, and we do a lot of EDDM and that sort of thing. But what I just heard was you've got a bunch of other lists that you guys could be sitting down with your realtors. You could set up a 3-way meeting with Knox and figure out, hey, let's go after a certain area of renters, or let's go, let's target it and go after it and do it for a year or whatever. That's pretty powerful. That's something that I don't think a lot of people realize they have access to. And I've heard you speak about this many times, and my guess is a lot of people don't probably fully utilize your resources.
You're right, and that's unfortunate actually, because as much as it's great when you go out and you win business because they love all the things that you can do that are so unique. However, if they actually took advantage of it, we'd both be making a lot more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. So it's there for the taking, and I'd love to work with people and provide it whenever we can.
Awesome. I really appreciate this. So I'm going to, again, all of the information has been included throughout this video. I'm going to put it in there. And the information is also going to be in the email. I don't know if that's below or above. It depends on where I place things. But we'll get this information out. My opinion on this is that it's kind of a first come, first serve. So there's no saying that Knox works with other mortgage companies. And he said he's only done this with a couple of people. He told me that before we started recording. But there's not to say that the people aren't going to get wind of this, or it's not going to be shared, or you have other good lender partner friends who refer you business. Of course, you're going to share it with them. So this is like a speed to lead thing. The faster you get to this, the faster you get this requested from Knox, the faster you start dialing, the better the opportunity that you might score a refi or two. And, it could change your month. So, or year in some cases. So, Knox, really appreciate it, man. We should do this more often and remind people what resources we have, because this is more specific to refinances, but we touched on a couple of other things. And I think there's a hell of an opportunity here. So I really appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care.